Welcome back to my Pokemon Marathon, a series where I tried to finish all the Pokemon Generation starting games before Gen 9. You know how that went. But you don't want to hear the Great Red Lizard bellyache. Quick aside, I was in the middle of editing this video, in the Black 2 segment to be precise, but Scarlet and Violet came out, and that distracted me for a little while. So this took longer to come out than I initially expected. But it's out now. Let's skip the excuses and jump right into Unova, shall we? This game is very story heavy, but the caveat is that it's rather short in comparison. I mean, there's a story to go over, but there's not that many trainers, and because of that, I didn't reach level 100 like I did in Platinum. Anyway, apparently it's the main character's birthday, which means Sharon, Bianca, and I are all 10 years old. I named myself Hilbert because I planned to use Memory Link for the sequels. I also couldn't name the rivals. Anyway, I picked Tepig, which had a quiet nature. Afterwards, my friends made me battle them in my room, which decimated it. After that mess, I receive a Pokedex and the town map. My friends made me step onto Route 1 all at once, and then we made our way to the Walking Furret Town. There, I got introduced to Team Plasma and N. N can apparently talk to Pokemon, which is never truly explained how he does it. I guess it's because he lived with Pokemon for a little while. Anyway, whatever, I beat him, and Bianca challenged me to another battle on Route 2. She lost spectacularly. Sharon also battled me. He didn't fare much better. After barely beating my first gym by the skin of my teeth, I witnessed Team Plasma beating the crap out of a Munna. They really are just like PETA. Also, Tepig became a Pig Knight. After beating Sharon again, he and I teamed up to rescue some Pokemon stolen by Team Plasma, which was a rather simple task. After that, I headed to the second gym. However, before I could enter, N wanted to fight me. Weirdo. The second gym turned out to be school-themed. I don't like school. I made a formal complaint to Lenora, but she wouldn't hear it, so she expelled me with a bribe. Then Team Plasma showed up and stole a skull. The third gym leader showed up to help, but it was ultimately inconsequential because I did everything myself. Enough with the griping, check out this awesome set piece. Game Freak really stepped up the ante with Gen 5, and it shows. The bridge led me to New York City, where the first thing that happened to me was I got flashed by a stranger in an alley behind a dumpster. Typical. Then I chased Team Plasma all around the city before challenging the gym. All this running around is tiring, man. Thankfully, it gets better from here. I beat Berg, Bianca, and Sharon, which pushed Pig Knight into becoming Embor. Once I reached Nimbus... Nimbus? Come on, man. It's pronounced Nimbasa. I encountered Team Plasma once more, and N as well. He reveals he's the leader, or king, of Team Plasma, and challenges me to a battle so the grunts can get away. After that fiasco, I rode a roller coaster to challenge Elisa, which took barely any effort. I then attempted to play dress-up. I hated every second of it. I also didn't understand anything that was happening. All I know is that Embor looked pretty good. After that, I witnessed Bianca having an argument with her dad and Elisa. I played football for a second, then went on my merry way. After getting challenged again by Sharon, I met the champion of the Unova region, Alder, for the first time. He seems like a nice guy. After Sharon has a midlife crisis as a 10-year-old, Elisa lowers the drawbridge. On the other side of the bridge, Clay instructs us to track down Team Plasma, which I found them in a fridge, so he can kick them out nice and proper. Getsus, unfortunately, stops that from happening. Then I challenged Clay to a battle and won. Surprise, surprise. Bianca shows up just outside Driftvale, and I beat her in a battle again. And I reached the worst part of the game, Charge Stone Cave. If I didn't stock up on repels, this would have taken way longer. I then went to another dungeon area where I chased down Skyla for no reason. After that, the gym opened up and I beat her without her last Pokemon theme kicking in. Cool. N questions why Pokemon like me. Then he muses that I'm the hero, whatever that means. Then, at the end of Route 8, Sharon fails to beat me yet again. Alder gives Sharon another mental breakdown and leaves like a boss. Turnback Cave wasn't as bad as I thought it'd be, but it wasn't short either. I challenged the Ice Gym and won. Then, Team Plasma busted into Dragon Spiral Tower, where, at the summit, N befriends Zekrom. He beseeches us to find Reshiram so we can settle our dumb argument if whether Pokemon should be owned by humans or not. Oh crap, I forgot to say that earlier. Well, I guess mentioning it now works, I guess. I went back to the school and received the white orb from the second gym leader. At the end of another cool set piece, Getsus finally gives you some one-on-one time. And he barely interacts, he just talks. I guess that's fitting. I rushed through the rest of the route and made it to Time City. What do I mean by Time City? Because depending on the version, it can either be the future or the past. Just like Scarlet and Violet. Whoa! Once there, I got an exposition dump that I didn't read, and fought Drayden to get the last gym badge. But before I could continue the game, I sidetracked to catch Tornadus. It didn't take long to grab him. After that, Charon and Bianca battled me one last time before the league. Game crashed. No idea why. Well, I didn't lose too much progress. Oh well. I got set back all the way to the 7th gym. It could have been worse, let's be honest. Victory Road was kind of dumb. The Elite Four was barely a challenge, which makes sense because N has already won, which gives him claim to rule Unova. Is it Unova? Unova or Unova? He summons a giant castle from underneath the league and leaves to wait for us in his throne room. I make it there. The light orb turned into Reshiram, which I caught in an Ultra Ball. And long story short, I beat N, Getsis got mad, and I beat him too. After that, the credits roll. First thing that happened after that was I got greeted at my house by 2 moms. One of them turned out to be Looker. I then went all around the region to find the 7 sages. After that, I killed Kyurem and prepped for the true Pokemon League. I gave Chantal Writer's Block, I gave Grimsley Bad Luck, I gave Caitlin Coffee, and I pulverized Marshall. I had an underleveled Emboar, so I had to use X items all the time. And then it was time to face the champion for the first time, Alder. Things were going smoothly until I got hit by a critical earthquake from Buffalent, which killed Emboar. Huh? Okay. So after sacrificing Tranquil, I beat the rest of Alder's team. This is the true ending of the game. I got registered in the Hall of Fame. After finally achieving greatness, I realized there was one thing left to do. There is a rumor that in a house in Undilla Town, trainers go in and never come out. So let's investigate this house. But that's gonna have to wait until Black 2, and that's it for Pokemon Black. Before I got started, I set up memory links so that I could attain maximum continuity. Once that was done, I picked a boy and named myself Groudon. And I'll give you 3 guesses what I renamed Hugh to. After my mom got distracted by some flower petals, she tells me that there's a girl that I'm supposed to meet so I can get a Pokemon. On my way, I meet up with Kyogre, and he insists that I take him with me. Turns out the girl is Bianca from the previous game. She became a real professor's assistant, apparently. Oh, I forgot to mention her calling was researching Pokemon in the last game. My bad? She let me choose my starter, which was Oshawott. Then I battled Hugh and received some running shoes. I needed to heal my Pokemon after that. And for some reason, a breeder NPC shared a memory of Team Plasma and N. No idea what that was about. While on my way to the next town, I run into Alder. It turns out he's not the champion anymore, and is instead living in retirement. After battling Kyogre again, we get told that there's a missing dog, and Kai freaks out for some reason. Shortly after, I meet a Team Plasma Grunt, whom is wearing a different outfit than the previous game. Kai finds me after the Grunt ran off and scolds the farmhand to be more careful. I return to Alder's house where I mercilessly beat up some kids and get sent to the gym in my hometown. Turns out the gym leader is none other than Charon. Since he was the first gym leader, I took him out rather easily. Once I left the gym, I got caught in the middle of a reunion of former rivals and wondering why I'm getting involved in the personal lives of complete strangers. I mean, I know them, but Nate doesn't. This is too weird for me, so I gave them the slip and made my way to the next town. After evolving Oshawott, I got into more personal toxic drama with the next town's gym leader. She had some voice acting for some reason, and that's more than what Pokemon wants to do nowadays. Then I got shoehorned into doing Pokestar Studios stuff, where it turns out Bryson is becoming a movie star. Unfortunately for Game Freak, this background is meme potential. After that, I get into a tussle with Team Plasma. Their theme is so good in this game, man. I followed another into the previous routes and then took a boat to New York City. Once there, I tried to go to the 3rd gym, but got sent to the sewers to fight Team Plasma. After meeting Berg and Colress, the gym opened up. This is a huge improvement over the last version. It's beautiful here. After being inspired by Berg, I ran into Colress again, where he showed me he can move some rocks. Riveting. Once I fully evolved to Oshawott and escaped Joint Avenue, I reached Nimbasa City. I battled the Subway Bros, visited the dress-up place, where I got Hilbert's prop case. Then I found an Apple Watch lying on the ground, which got a call from someone called Gansey. After all that excitement, I went looking for Elisa. Turns out she wasn't in her gym. She was in a beauty pageant next door, where I experienced this. Is that a singer? Wow. After dazzling Elisa and her audience, and another call from Yancey, I ran into Kai and Team Plasma arguing about a purloin. Turns out Team Plasma stole Kai's sister's purloin 2 years ago. Okay, but who asked, bro? Then I got shown hidden grottos, which I never found another one in this game ever again. And after another call from Yancey, I ran into an ex-Team Plasma grunt arguing with a Neo-Team Plasma grunt. I had a chat with Rude, an ex-Team Plasma sage, and received a Zorua. After seeing another memory of Team Plasma, I expertly excavated Clay's gym badge. I was forced to break one of my rules because I was forced to battle in the PWT. Please forgive me. After that, I found Neo Team Plasma's Brigade, where Charon, Kai, and I duked it out with several members of Neo Team Plasma. Sadly, they escaped. While on my way to the 6th gym, for some reason, Cobalion ran up to me to check me out, then charged Stone Cave. Ugh. After that, I received the Lucky Egg and got another call from Yancey. I proceeded to blow away Skyla and receive her badge. As a bonus, she took me and Bianca to a new town. I made my way to another cave, calmed a ghost girl, saw a memory of Elisa and Skyla, and reached Undella Town, where I was forced to battle Kyogre again. After another call from Yancey, I encountered Cobalion again. This time I caught him. I proceeded to get a Kyurem-themed exposition dump in the next town. Also, I met Neo Team Plasma's Sage, Zinzalin. After ruining an old man's dreams, I got another Yancey call and encountered Virizion shortly after, which I caught. I reached the next town, and after a cool cinematic, and an easy fight, I acquired the 7th badge from Drake. Then Neo Team Plasma came in and froze an entire city. I can't believe Team Plasma just murdered an entire city. Thoroughly angered, I pulverized the Team Plasma grunts there, and I chased down Zinzalin and the Shadow Triad. Whoa. Huh? How? But it was no use. They stole Drayden's DNA splicers. To lift my spirits, I went through an underwater glass tunnel so I could get the last gym badge from Marlin. I really can't believe this is the last gym already. But I'm glad I fought the Walrein trainer, because it would suck to try and find one later. After beaching Marlin and catching Terrakion, he helped Kai and I onto the Neo Team Plasma Brigade. I invaded the barracks, and after deactivating the power panels, I discovered Neo Team Plasma was using Kyurem to power the flying pirate ship's cannon. I beat up Zinzalin, but he sicked the Shadow Triad on me and kicked Kai and I out. Thankfully, they didn't go far. I followed them to the giant chasm. I shut down the ship and discovered that Colress was the one leading Neo Team Plasma. He was actually kinda tough. Turns out it wasn't over. Amazingly, Getsus is still puppeteering Neo Team Plasma, and instead of manipulating people, he's throwing away the facade and just wants to outright rule with an iron fist. He then tries to kill me. Oh yeah, the Shadow Triad also gave Kai back his purloin, now a Lipard. Luckily, N comes in just in the nick of time to save me. However, that's just what Getsus wants. He then forced Kyurem and Zekrom to fuse into Black Kyurem. I took it down in 2 hits, then proceeded to utterly decimate Getsus' worldview before the Shadow Triad took him away. After that whole debacle, N shows me the way to the Pokemon League, where thankfully the entry process is shorter, but the game makes up for that by making Victory Road way longer than necessary. After a quick battle with Kai, I make it to the Pokemon League, where I spooked Chantal, tricked Grimsley, enchanted Caitlyn, and pile drove Marshall. This is where I found out that the league champion was none other than Iris. I beat her easily, and that was the main campaign of Black 2. Post-game time! After receiving the National Dex and beating Alder's team from Pokemon Black, I meet his grandson, Benga, who mentions Black Tower. Not going there yet. I beat Iris again, and made my way to Icarus City, where the Shadow Triad challenged me to win back Getsus' heart in one last-ditch attempt. They sadly failed, and that ends the Neo Team Plasma story. I get the privilege to witness so many memories. One explains why Bryson left the gym, another showed when Iris became the champion, and another showed Lenora's daily job. It turns out that the triplet gym leaders aren't gym leaders anymore. I got another memory showing why. Thanks, game. After that, I made my way to where Hilbert lived, where Bianca challenged me to a battle, which I had never experienced. Once I met Hilbert's mom, chased down Aladius, and beat Charon, I began the longest thing I've had to do yet for this marathon. But before that, I finally got to meet Yancey. The thing I had to do was find all the Pokemon I hadn't seen yet for my Pokedex. That included Pupitar, Vullaby, Gliscor, Tyranitar, Tynamo, Seal, Shuckle, Corsola, Dugong, Swablu, Bronzor, Bronzong, Ninetales, Wigglytuff, Tropius, which took over an hour to find for some reason, Vanillish, Delibird, Yanmega, Shuppet, Skitty, Rufflet, and Emboar. After that order, I beat Kyogre in one final duel, met Crasher Wake, and battled Colress for the last time, and hatched a Tepig. Next on my agenda was that Black Tower. I don't count this as Battle Frontier material because you can save in the middle of it. The way you best Black Tower is by finding a trainer that unlocks a gate, and beating a boss trainer. Each floor gets harder, but when you get to the final level, the boss trainer is Alder's grandson, Benga. He's pretty tough, but not too bad. After I beat him, I received a shiny Gibble. Only 2 things left. First, I met with N in his castle and had a battle with him. Once defeated, he gave me the Black Orb, which I took to Dragon Spiral Tower, where I caught Zekrom. Then I caught Kyurem for good measure. After that side quest, I went to Professor Juniper's lab to show her my Pokédex, and as a reward for seeing every single Pokemon in the region, I got a Plane Pass. The Plane Pass allows access to the Nature Preserve, where you can get a free shiny Haxorus. He's so overrated. And that ends Pokemon Black 2. Wait! There were rumors I've been hearing about Hilbert. They say he went into a house in Undella Town and never came out. Well, let's investigate this, shall we? Let's try this house. It all makes sense now. The only way out of this is by beating her. Samurott used Waterfall on her Spiritomb and Lucario, Surf on her Garchomp and Togekiss, Revenge on her Glaceon, and Strength on her Milotic. And now that I've become the only one to have survived Cynthia, I have done everything I needed to do in Unova. And with that, Pokemon Black 2 comes to a close.